This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are standing by. Here's somebody way back in there, and I am monitoring 3 SDRs plus my local antenna. I'm monitoring Arlington, Virginia, and Raleigh, North Carolina, and the Milford, PA SDRs, plus my local antenna, which we are located near Louisville, Kentucky. So station try one more time.
This is November 3, Mike Alpha. The name's Mike.
Come back, Mike, with your call sign. Let me find my pen first. Give me a break off the top. All right, Mike, what's your call sign?
November 3, Mike Alpha. Mike.
Roger, and Mike's the name, Roger?
That's correct. N3MA to call. I'm in Virginia.
Ah, right. Well, let me check the Virginia SDR and see what we got. Probably you're too close for that one, but come back and talk to me for just a second.
About 35 miles west of D.C. Got a new rig just pulled out of the box. Want to get ready for the Virginia QSO party tomorrow. ICOM 7300. Talk to you, N3MA.
Roger that. Roger that. Well, I was right. You are too close for the Arlington, Virginia SDR, but I am copying you fairly well on the local, my local antenna. So you have a new 7300. Is that a Roger?
Yep, that's correct. Sold my oil Kenwood CS940 after about 35 years ago.
Roger that. Well, I've got you're about 3 dB over my noise level, so today is not a real good day on the band, but I'll try to do the best I can. Come back and tell me about your antenna system.
Using a dipole, just a simple dipole between the house and a tree. Nice warm day here, by the way, but some kind of windy, that's for sure.
Okay, roger that. Now you're using the supplied hand mic, so what you have to do with that is work it from the corner of your mouth. Try to talk past it in the corner of your mouth, not too far back because you'll lose some audio, but just to the side and work across that mic. Roger?
Sorry about that. We must have doubled a bit while I was talking. So I'm off to the side now with the microphone, watching the meter as well, and now got it right in front of me. Like I said, using a dipole and putting out about 100 watts. Barefoot right now, I got to get my old SB230 squared away with these new solid-state rigs, that's for sure. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. Okay, Mike, what I would do, do you know where your mic level control is?
I'll have to find that. Not at the moment.
It's hard to work if we don't know how to get to places. Do you know how to get to your EQ?
Oh yeah, it's all menus. I just got to get the seance down and also do the monitoring. As soon as I can monitor my own audio, so I'm going to do that too.
All right. What you need to do is go to menu and settings. Menu and settings. Roger.
Okay, got it.
All right, and do you see an item marked mic gain?
Not yet. Going to have to crack the old manual for that and tone control. Watch it on the scope and watch it, monitor my own audio from the rig.
Roger, Mike. Tone control. Tone control. Roger, Mike.
Roger. Hey, listen, thanks for taking a listen. I'll bow out of here and get back to doing my homework on this rig. And your name and call again, please, Louisville.
Roger, Mike. This is Jim Juliet India Mike, and the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And don't run off, man. We're just getting started.
Okay, I got lots of homework to do here.
If you know where your mic gain is, double check to be sure that's sitting on about 50. Put your mic on about 50.
Well, clear with you, Jim. Thanks for
Hi, Jim. K1GZL.
Well, there he is. There's Charlie. Charlie, I'm checking out the Arlington, Virginia SDR. You copy?
SDR, you copy?
Oh, yeah. You're directly. You're about 10, 15 over 9. Good solid signal. I understand you had some real bad weather yesterday afternoon. I'm glad you probably didn't have any damage. K1GZL.
No, matter of fact, my antenna is reading better today than than in recent times. It is today a definite 0.01 to 1. Usually it is in that area, maybe 02, 03, but today it is definitely 1.01. Roger.
Definitely 1.01, Roger.
Okay, well that's great. Well, my SWR is about 4 to 1. Because this 40-meter antenna, as you know, is really damaged by that October 23rd snow. And, boy, we're having a warm day today. It's just over 50 degrees, and we have lost the top part of our snow a little bit. But we still have probably 30 or more inches on the level ground up here in the northern end of New Hampshire. So good to hear you on. Your signal is doing very well directly. Here it is. I recorded.
It's in that area, maybe 02, 03, but today it is definitely 1.01, Roger.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim. K1GZL.
Well, thank you, Charlie. Sounded really good. Now, when I last left you last week, we were saying you had a Miami day with 30 degrees, and now today you've got 50 degrees?
Hey, you've got 50 degrees?
Yeah, Roger. It's right up at 50, maybe 51. However, that's the end of it. It's going to cool off starting this evening, and by tomorrow morning we'll probably start seeing a few snow showers.
Oh, Roger. Well, gosh, how many 50-degree days do you get a year?
50-degree days do you get a year?
Boy, I got somebody that's opened up just above us that's flashing over bad. You asked me how many, what, Jim? Go ahead.
Oh, how many 50-degree days do you get a year?
Degree days do you get a year?
Oh, a year. Oh, my gosh. Lots of them. But during the winter, it doesn't happen very often. Does not happen. I think it was in November we had a day like that. And in February, it briefly for one or day and a half got up to about 49 or 50, but that lasted just a few hours. And each time that happens, the snow will take a little bit of a beating, and then it snows on top of that, and then it snows, and I have to be plowed out, get the roof rake out, take the snow off the roof, off the porch, and boy, what a job. But it's all part of winter, and it's part of the exercise. Being an insulin-taking diabetic for over 52 years, it's good for my exercising. Without that, I would evaporate.
Roger, Charlie. Well, just don't overdo it. That's the main thing. Get your exercise, but don't overdo it, Roger.
Don't overdo it, Roger.
Okay, Jim, look, I won't hold you longer. It's good to talk to you, and I did see the last one from last Friday over at my friend Bob's, KB1IZU. I did see the report there, and you were receiving very well on that particular day. So I'm glad I'm getting into Northern Virginia. I'm not aimed quite in that direction, but then again, with this antenna, I got where the exact major lobe is. So good to talk to you there. I hope your health is good, and we'll catch you. We'll certainly should catch you hopefully next Friday. KC9VKV, K1GZL, Clarksville, Northern New Hampshire on the Quebec border.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. 3Z, sir. Have yourself a good weekend, and we'll see you next Friday if all the things are equal and the creeks don't rise, as they say. 3's, Charlie. We'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording between now and 5, and we'll post it up on YouTube. That's a pretty simple procedure. Go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that'll take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for my group Aircheck 31519. My group Aircheck 31519, which just happens to be today's date. This is KC9VKV.
This is KC9VKV.
WA9. Romeo, got a copy, Jim?
There's a Romeo. Go ahead.
Kilo 9, Victor Juliet Romeo. How copy?
I got you. What's the name there?
Vern, Victor Echo Roger Nancy, located in Crown Point, Indiana, on the opposite end of the state.
Roger, Roger, Vern. How's it going today?
Hey, it's going great. You have a beautiful signal into Crown Point. You're peaking 20 over S9, and really a nice signal. I've tuned across the band a couple times, and I think you won the Cupid doll, Jim. Over.
Oh, roger that. Well, you know, next step is I turn into a pumpkin at 5 o'clock. So, well, listen, Vern, good to hear from you. What kind of radio are you running?
I'm on the IC 7300 into the Sugar Baker 200 into. Let's see. I think I'm on the end head long wire up about 35 feet with a knockoff mic. It's a boom mic. It's called the BM800. If you Google it, you'll see it's very inexpensive, but quite a nice mic. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, I approach Googling a BM abbreviation very cautiously. Listen, Vern, I'm looking at your audio, and you could do with a little fattening, I believe, if you go to your ALC position and take a look at your audio. I think maybe we could do something there if you'd like.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. I got my RF power, my mic gain, my compression, and my monitor. You need me to find the ALC, is that correct?
Roger, yeah, and just check your ALC level. I think it might be a little low. I'm sorry, if you check your ALC level, I think it might be just a little low.
Okay, let me go in the menu here and find it. Let's see. ALC. Probably if I go to settings, no, not tone control, not display, other, nope, not there. Oh, brother. ALC. Oh my. I'm not finding it. Over.
Roger, do you have your book there?
See, should be right here, where it should be, and where it is might be two different things. No, I got it right there. Yeah, okay, we got it in hand. Let me go to the index. But anyway, where are you located, Jim?
We're located just across the river from Louisville, just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky on the Indiana side.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I looked you up on QRZ. It cheated. That's why I said you're at the opposite end of the state. We're tucked up here in the northwest corner. You're down in like about mid-state, maybe a little southeast, but you're in the corner down there. Over.
Oh, roger that. Now, have you gotten your ALC up?
Not yet. I'm looking.
I would think that that would be right in the, let's see, right in system. I don't know. I work on the transmitter. I'm not a receiver, man.
Yeah, would they have another name for it?
No. Anybody with 7300, where is ALC located, please?
This is Kilo 2 Golf Echo Julia.
Go ahead, station.
Yeah, Kilo 2 Golf Echo Julia. I got a 7300 here too. And the easiest thing to do is to touch the S meter until the ALC pops up. Instead of, I have mine now on S meter and power output. So just touch it and SWR will come up and then ALC will come up.
Okay, so it's a selection on the S meter?
And go down and turn your compressor off. Make sure there's no compression. Then go up and turn your mic gain up till the ALC comes up to the ALC mark, and you're all set, over.
Roger. Well, that remains to be seen. We have a way to do that, but it's, we double check the ALC to be sure we're between halfway and 2/3. We want to run that ALC between halfway and 2/3.
Okay, Jim. Yep, that's where it is. I'm peaking on ALC at halfway, not quite, about 45%. Not quite peaking 50. Thank you, that other station, for the help. I'd have been searching for half the afternoon, trying to figure it out. But it's you just touch the S meter on the screen, and it brings up the ALC, the compression, the SWR, and the signal strength. So looks like I'm just a little bit beneath midpoint on ALC. Jim, over.
Okay, so you want to be at probably about 2/3. So what I suggest is go to your compressor and engage your compressor at about a 3. You want to engage your compressor on at about a 3 intensity. Roger?
Roger, got it. At a 3 intensity on compression. I'm 35% on mic gain. And we're running 90 watts into the sugar baker, so we're doing better than that, but around 500 watts output, over.
Roger. Now bring your mic gain up to about 40, 45, bring it up to 50. Let's see where it goes. Bring your mic gain up to 50.
Okay, we're at 50%. Does that sound any better or any worse?
Well, what I'm doing is building your modulation, average peak modulation. And so I'm looking for about a 3 dB dynamic range. Go to your mic tone control and put +2 from where you are, +2 from on the top end from where you are at the moment.
Okay, I'm in tone control. Transmit bass +2, transmit treble +4. Over.
Oh, you are at 4 already?
On the transmit treble, I am at 4.
All right. Tell me about your antenna.
It's an end-fed long wire. Let's see here. Hold on. Make sure that's the one I'm on. Yep. I'm on the end-fed long wire, and it's the outboard end is up about 35 feet. The end coming into the shack's up about 25 feet, over.
Roger that. Okay, now double check to be sure you're in the widest mode possible. You want to be in the 100 to 2900 mode. Roger?
Yes, sir. That's where I am.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty close there. You're at 50 on your mic level and 3 at your compression. And your dynamic range now looks to be about 3 dB. Let's see. Give me a little more audio there.
Okay. I'm back. I just increased the transmit treble to +5. I was at +4. +5 is as far as I can go. And I'm still at +2 on the transmit base. Over.
Roger that. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. And you're on the stock end mic, Roger?
No, sir. I'm on this boom mic, the BM800, which I've been using, and it appears to work fairly well.
Roger that. Does it have a windscreen?
Yes, it does.
All right. You're good to go. You might consider it in your future a condenser desk mic. It will really make a lot of difference in your articulation and, the syllabic range of your audio, Roger.
It is a condenser desk mic.
Roger that. The radio synthesis, it is a condenser desk mic. You must be familiar with this BM800 boom mic that I'm using. It's really inexpensive. I think I bought the whole setup for about $35, $40 a year or so back, and surprisingly, it works fairly well for that kind of money. Over.
Yeah, it does. It does. I didn't realize you were in a condenser configuration already.
Yeah, who is that other station that's been helpful? This is K9 Victor Juliet Romeo with KC9VKV. Over.
Yes, good evening. Good afternoon. This is Kilo 2 Golf Echo Juliet, K2GEJ, and the name is Carl, Charlie Alpha Romeo Lima, and we're in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And that mic is it's an electric condenser mic. I have the new MW800, same thing. And it's a nice mic, very nice mic. And I had no trouble with that's how come I know about it. And boy, for the amount of money you pay for it, it's a wonderful mic. Compared to the Heil ICM, I see pictures of that taken apart all over the internet, and this thing's got a nice big condenser element in it. Anyways, KC9VKV, you got a good signal. I think that's your call. You got a really, really good signal here. US9 plus, 10 or 15, real good signal. KC9VKV with K9VJR, Kilo 2 Golf Echo Juliet.
Roger, Carl. Stand by just a minute. I want to talk at you, but right now we're working on Vern. Vern, I think you're good to go, sir.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it, and thank you, Carl, for your help. And you're absolutely right. For the money, this mic is well worth it. And if you're on a shoestring budget, which I tend to be, that's what you look for. Good deal. So with that, I'm going to say 73, Tim. Thanks for your help. As a matter of fact, I might come back in a little bit and yell at you on my Collins S line and see how it sounds. K9 Victor Juliet Romeo. Will be, sir.
Roger there, Carl, the 3's at Waster. Or Vern, I'm sorry. And give us a shout later on when you get up on the other radio. And Carl, do you have a copy on KC9VKV?
Oh, yeah, like I said, you're last time plus, I think it's around 10 to 15 over. Really good signal down here in Spartanburg, over.
Roger. I wanted to talk to you just a minute about your equalization. You're pretty heavy on the bottom end. I would classify it almost as muddy. What radio are you running?
Yeah, look at the 7300 here also. And a lot of people say that my voice is nothing but bass. I have no trouble whatsoever. That's what I sang in the choir for like 50-some years, and that's the way the grapefruit shoots. It's my voice, and there's not much I can do. And I've got the treble way up to +4 on the 7300 in my transmit. I think I got it wide right now, but anyway, that's my voice, and I guess I got to blame the Lord for that. Over.
Roger, Carl. Well, you know, you might check your EQ, tone control, as someone said, and if you rolled off a couple of clicks on the bottom end, I think it would help you a great deal as far as not being on the muddy side, Roger. And I think it would clean that mic up real nice.
Yeah, okay, we can do that really easy. Really easy. Okay, I'm down to -1 now. I got the bass cut down. Over.
Okay, now, did you come up on that mic and talk to me for just a minute? Tell me about your antenna system.
Hey, antennas, this is KC9VKV. We just put it up. It's a homebrew Carolina window. It's up about 45 feet, and it's the 40-meter version. I don't have enough room to put up the full length, but this is the 69-foot Carolina window, and running 100 watts right now. And we just put our station back together again. We built a brand new table here. Our table we had was just for a computer, and I've been back in the ham radio again, so didn't have much room on it, so I built a nice 30-inch by 48-inch table, and that's what we're using, KC9VKV, K2GJ.
Roger, Carl. Well, you know, the interesting thing about the 7300 is the limiter in the ALC circuit. It is really a nice limiter. I mean, you can run that ALC at 2/3 level plus, not in the red. Try not to get in the red, but you can run a nice ALC level, and that radio will just fatten up. What I usually suggest is that you run a token amount of compression, which is like a 3 on the compressor, which is just a token amount, but it starts towards helping you get a fatter audio signal. Like I say, we're actually looking for like a 3 dB dynamic range. You know, when you talk about modulation, you're talking about the dynamic range, and you're talking about the average percent of peak modulation. Most everybody can hit 100% peak modulation, but the trick is to get that average peak modulation up. So I have found that if you run about a 3 on the compressor and then run that ALC at about 2/3 and a nice EQ on your mic, and I think that bottom end was helped a great deal just a minute ago. So come back and if you can go into about 3 on that compressor and go to ALC and let me know what you're reading on ALC.
Yeah, I am on 3 on the compression, and what ICOM wants you to do is to turn the compressor totally off and set your mic in so you're right up in the ALC range, which is shown on the screen on the radio. So that's what I did, and then I turn the compressor on and I run it up to about 3. That's plenty for me. Over.
Well, it just depends on how fat you want to be, you know. And I'm going to look at the ALC with everything on. I don't want to do something. I don't want to set my level on the ALC and then go do something else. I'll be the master of my ship, and I'll look at that ALC after I have everything set the way I want it, and I will then adjust the ALC to the exact level I want. That way I know there are no surprises. You know, this thing of making a major adjustment after you look at your ALC, you know, why would you want to do that? Why not just set what you want to set the way you want it set, and then look at your ALC and adjust your mic gain to the ALC is running between 1/2 and 2/3, Roger?
Yes, you have the 7300 also.
I'm sorry, I missed that, Carl. Repeat.
No, I just said, do you have a 7300 also?
No, I don't. Matter of fact, I don't. I just work on the transmitters of, well, probably about 150 to 200 folks. Roger?
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, this thing's just a lot different than the old analog radios used to do. This is all done in software. And you can run into some real troubles if you have your ALC higher, have your mic gain higher than what it needs to be to get your ALC in the correct region. That's the book. That's the book from ICOM, and I also talked to a guy down in Cedar Park, and they said over.
I'm sorry there, Carl. I lost you. I had to go to the Arlington, Virginia SDR to copy the mail there. Well, you know, we all have our ways of doing things, Carl. I think the ALC is Bible. And I think that between 1/2 and 2/3 is the proper scale to run that ALC. And I think after you do all of your adjustments, and then you go back and confer with the ALC to be sure you're right where you want to be there, between 1/2 and 2/3, I think that's the better way to do it than make some kind of major adjustment after you have already set the ALC. That's, pardon my words, but stupid. I want to look at that ALC after I've done everything to be sure that the ALC is correct. So, Carl, I thank you, sir. Thank you for checking in, Roger.
Sure, thank you for checking in, Roger.
Okay, very good. And I hope you have a great 73. Stay right side up. And I got you down on my book here, and if I hear you on, I'll give you a shout later on down the log, and I hope you do likewise. So take care. KC9VKV, K2GEJ, 7th region.
Roger, Carl. I had to move to another SDR to copy you there. I had to go to Milford, PA, to copy that last transmission. So Mother Nature's playing games. I just trying to stay ahead of the game with. We're running 3 SDRs in our local antenna. We are running Arlington, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Milford, PA SDRs as options to our main antenna. This is KC9VKV, our QSO-VLOG network. From now until 5, we are recording. If you have a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, W8RNE. Victor Kilo, WA9GVK.
There's about 3 stations there and about a bunch of QRM. So the loudest one, try it again.
The loudest one, try it again.
X-ray Zulu.
This QRM's killing me. I got it on about 3 SDRs. Well, I don't know what to say here. I can't copy the call sign clean. Maybe the QRM will back off. Station, try it again.
Station, try it again.
A9GVK, Whiskey Alpha 9, Golf Victor Kilo.
Golf Victor Kilo station. This is KC9VKV.
Station, this is KC9VKV.
Yeah, you could try the Arlington receiver. See if
receiver, WA9VK. Whiskey Alpha 9 Golf Victor Kilo. There's another station real close to us now. Over.
Roger. I got you pretty well on the Arlington, Virginia SDR. Roger.
Arlington, Virginia, SDR, roger.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just a few miles from that receiver.
Roger. Yeah. Usually, folks get too close, and they disappear. There's this, if you get too close, I guess you're in the ground wave pattern of that station. Roger.
Pattern of that station, roger.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I notice we have to put the power amplifier on just to get about 5 miles away. Are you able to hear me okay? Over.
Yeah, I've got you good now, sir.
Yeah, I've got you good now, sir.
Okay, yeah, appreciate an audio report. We're just getting this set up. This is a ICOM 7610 with a Heil 781 mic with the W2IYH equalizer on it, running attic antennas. The antenna is indoors, an inverted V. Over.
Roger that. I would suggest, do you have compression in the outboard device?
Have compression in the outboard device?
Yeah, I'm not using compression on the W2IHY stuff. This is the ICOM compressor. It is on right now. It's turned up a bit.
Roger. I would move that to about a 3. I would use the internal 7300 7610 compressor to about a 3. Roger.
To about a 3. Roger.
Yeah, right now it's up at a 7. It's up high. Am I too high? Over.
Yeah, take it to a 3. I'm going to get your level where you want it, but I'm going to do it in a way where it's a lot more transparent. So take your compressor to a 3.
So take your compressor to a 3.
Okay, we will do that. Hold on. Okay. Okay, the compressor has been turned down to a 3, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. KC9VKV, WA9GVK. Is that better?
Well, we're working on it. Now, what's your mic level? Tell me what your mic level is.
Mic level. Tell me what your mic level is.
Let me look at the mic level. My gain is at 32% right now. Over.
All right, take that to 45%, 4.5 on the mic level.
4.5 on the mic level.
Okay, yeah, keep in mind the W2IHY preamp is working in there too, but I'll go ahead and I'll raise my gain up right now. Here we go.
All right, did you do that?
47.
All right, did you do that?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's at 47. Over.
All right, now go to Quick and take a look at your drive control. Let me know what that is, what it's setting.
What that is, what it's setting.
Okay, I'm going to go to the drive control right now. The drive gain is at 46. It's at 4.6.
All right, take that to 5.5, 55.
5.55.
Got you. I'm moving it up now to 5.5. Okay, the drive level is at 5.5. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drive levels at 5.5. Over.
All right, and let's see. Tell me about your antenna system. I just need a little audio there, so tell me a little bit about your antenna.
So tell me a little bit about your antenna.
The antenna in the attic. We have homeowners restrictions here, so we have an antenna farm in the attic, And by the way, I am on a little linear amp. It's on the ACOM A1000, but I always keep that pretty well turned down, so we're never much above 300 watts. Back to you, KC9VKV, WA9GVK.
Roger, Roger. And you're reducing the output of your amp by the RF control on the 7610?
That is correct. That's correct. I do that all from the power output of the rig. Correct. Over.
Roger that. I was just thinking, can you easily bypass your processor? Was just curious about something, but I know you're probably married to that, and but I was just curious about something. If it's a big problem, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I could turn the off. What happens is yes, the 781. Of course, being a dynamic mic takes a little bit more drive. Let me switch it. Let me see if I can get it off. Here we go. Testing 1, 2, 3. I should. Here we go. I have the W2IHY unit off. I am hitting the ALC hard, a little bit into the red region, but this should be off now. I believe the switch is off on the equalizer. Over.
Okay, you are widest mode possible, right?
Widest mode possible, right?
That is correct. It's on the wide setting, comp on wide. Over.
Yeah, and is that like the 7300 where there's 3 different places that you could possibly change that?
Change that?
Yes, that's correct. It's the same as the 7300.
Okay, so to me that's really confusing to have 3 different places to set your the wideness of your station, because it will default to the lowest one that you have. So even if you have 2 set for high, if you have 1 set for low, it's going to go to low.
So 1 set for low, it's going to go to low.
Yeah, right now, let's see. Yeah, I just have on comp on wide, so it is the widest setting right now. Was there a big change when I turned off the equalizer?
Yeah, it dropped just a little bit there. If you're going to run that the outboard gear, I would go ahead and put it back in the circuit.
Well, with it in the circuit, I have the lows elevated, mid-range down, and the high a little bit up. So it's kind of looks like a parabolic dish on the equalizer setting. Over.
Roger. The only thing I'm noticing is that from time to time there's about 3 dB blow-by through that limiter, and the 7610 limiter is a very outstanding Stonewall limiter that does not do that, and I'm just wondering why it is doing that. Usually with the 7610 or 7300, those limiters are Stonewall limiters, so when you come up on it, it will take the 100% mark religiously. Every peak is the same place. There's no blow-by. It's a Stonewall limiter. And this one, from time to time, I see you +3 over my 0 set, and I just can't quite understand why.
Yeah, I know, but I'm seeing that right now. So on my ALC meter, it is going into the red region. So it's going above what ICOM recommends for us to see on the ALC setting. Over.
Yeah, Roger. So go ahead and put your stuff back in, because I know that you want to run that. So go ahead and put that back in, and we'll put that ALC at mid-range to mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have it in. When you told me to switch it in, I switched it in. Oh. Okay, right now, backing off from the mic just a little bit. Right now, that is in getting a little bit of the ALC in the red region. Over.
All right, we want to be we don't want to exceed 2/3. So if you are getting some red, pull her back a little bit there, because we want to stay well within the range of the ALC. So I usually say, mid-range to mid-scale to 2/3.
To mid-scale to 2/3.
Well, the way that I do that is with the mic gain, that I drop the mic gain. Or I think the compression, right? The compression does some effect with the ALC on here. Do you want me to drop the mic gain back?
Yeah, I would. Usually, though, what's that on now?
What's it on now?
Let me take a look again. My gain's at 47 right now, about 47.
Okay, so I would suggest can you take the output of your equipment going into the mic? Can you take the output of that down?
Can you take the output of that down?
I sure can. Yes, I can. Well, let me drop all the levers here. Let me get that down. Okay. I dropped the W2IHY device, so it is dropped. So I'm reduced the amount of drive. Excuse me. I've reduced the amount of mic amplification into the rig right now. How does that sound?
Roger. How's your ALC look?
Roger. How's your ALC look?
It's fine. It's not. It's not going over the red region right now. So within the red bar right now, it's probably between 1/2 and 3/4, I'd say.
All right. Just out of curiosity, if you would indulge me just for a moment, let's go to the drive. And what's the drive level at the moment?
The drive level at the moment?
Yeah, the drive level is 55 right now.
All right, just out of curiosity, if you would take that to 60, 60. I think normal for that drive level is 50, but I'd like to try it at about 60 just for the moment.
About 60 just for the moment.
Okay, will do. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Drive level is up right now at about 60. I'm not seeing the compression do anything. In other words, the compression meter on the rig, even though the compression is on, the compression is not showing any movement right now.
Right. I'm just wondering, do you think your outboard gear might be loading the mic channel input being on?
Being on?
And I'll repeat that. What was your question?
I was just wondering if your external audio processor might be loading the output of the mic, since is it a definite bypass, Roger?
Bypass, Roger?
Well, I have the equalizer in, so I have the 781 going into the equalizer. The equalizer is turned on, but I've turned down the output gain from that equalizer since we started, so it's down now.
Oh, Roger. I wish I had a better copy on you. I wish I had just a little bit, just a tad cleaner copy, so I could see what's going on. It seems to be that I don't see that anomaly of pushing through the limiter point. So I think we may have solved that problem. I'm not real sure. The thing is, you have to be conscientious about working the mic consistently over a period of time. In other words, your distance to the microphone, you have to be very religious about being at that same place, because if you pull back or get closer, your mic level will change. Now, I solved my problem by I'm running a windscreen and I'm right on the mic, so I can't get any closer, and I know if it's not tickling my nose that I'm too far away. So that's how I solve the problem.
That's how I solve the problem.
got a little too close there. I have the windscreen on this thing. What's the dynamic range doing? Is the dynamic range okay, or does it need more compression?
I'm showing you now at about 2.5 dB, so that's would be probably the average peak modulation of somewhere around 85%. So that's typical for that radio. You can, with that drive control, you can squish your audio down to 0.5 dB dynamic range, which is, I've never seen that. I have seen that with that radio, but I've never seen it in any other application of that fat an audio signal where it's only 0.5 dB dynamic range. What happens is, I'm looking at your audio on a VU dB meter, and it's got a certain sway to it, and as we compress the signal, make the signal fatter, the emitter seems to less occupy the lower part of the dial. It's all stays up around 0 to -2 or 3, somewhere in there. But if you happen to totally go crazy on that drive control, that radio will do a 0.5 dB dynamic range. And so what I see on this end is my VU meter, instead of moving around, is just kind of quivering right at 0 level, just quivering like a voltmeter on a transmitter might, Roger.
On a transmitter might, Roger.
Okay, all right, thanks. So basically, at least for right now, it's somewhere in the right range. By the way, the only other issue you get running power and running an attic antenna is getting RF feedback. So I do have on all the lines mixed 31 ferrite everywhere, on the audio lines and everything, to try to keep the RF from the system. So that's been my biggest problem, I say to you. KC9VKV, WA9GVK.
Roger. Well, there's nothing wrong with running 2 grounds. I've run through the whole thing here, and I have 3 grounds actually. I have 1 ground just for the power amp, the antenna selector, and the antenna tuner. I have 1 ground just for that, and that's a 9-foot stake, and I use RG8 as the line to the ground, since RF travels on the surface of the conductor. That's kind of the equivalent of like a 1/2-inch copper wire running to the ground. So I have 1 ground just for that, and I do a spider to connect to the amp and the antenna selector and the antenna tuner. It's called a gosh, what is it called? It's where moment of seniors moment here. All these wires come together, and then they have a lock nut washer split bolt. Jesus, pardon my stupidity. A split bolt that all these things come together and tie it down with 1 split bolt, and that way you don't have any like long copper thing, which is a wavelength, could be a wavelength of this or that. This spider is sudden death. It's right there. All the lead to the ground and all the leads from the equipment come together in one place, tied together with a split bolt. Okay, so that's ground 1, and ground 2 and 3 are tied together with separate leads in, and they are handle the radio and the mic preamp and everything else. So I just couldn't see, the reason I went to multi-grounds is I just couldn't see taking a mic preamp and tying it to a power amp ground. It just didn't make much sense, Roger.
It just didn't make much sense, Roger.
Yeah, well, I'm on the 2nd floor, so running long ground is another problem unto itself. Okay, Tim. Let's give some other people a chance to use your good counsel. And I appreciate it. Maybe next week we'll check back in with you and see if we're holding our own. And maybe you'll have better reception there in southern Indiana. Thanks a lot. KC9
VKV WA9JVK.
Okay, and come back with the call sign phonetically and slowly again, please.
Sign phonetically and slowly again, please.
Oh yeah, Whiskey Alpha 9 Golf Victor Kilo. Whiskey Alpha 9 Golf Victor Kilo.
Roger, and the name, please.
Roger, and the name, please.
Bruce. Baker, Romeo, Uniform, Charlie, Echo.
Roger, Bruce. Thank you, sir. And you have a good day. And if you get a chance, check in next Friday. We'd love to hear you and see what you've been up to and how everything's been running. So for now, we'll say threes and have yourself a good weekend. This is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, we are recording from now until 5. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV from Kilowatt America 9, Victor Tango Lima.
Victor Tango, what was that? Come back with the call sign phonetically again, please.
Yeah, it's Kilowatt America 9, Victor Tango Lima.
Roger, and the name, please.
The name is Dennis, Delta Echo, November, India, Sierra. Located up here in Elkhart, Indiana, trying out a brand new 7300. I've had it about a week, just going through the parameters here, and I kind of that happy medium for DX and just rag Q.
Roger that. What mic are you running?
Stock hand mic.
It's my favorite. And folks don't realize when they pull that hand mic off and put a desk mic on, 2-to-1, the desk mic is going to be a dynamic mic versus the condenser mic that you have in that stock mic. And so they're going to have to add a bunch of top-end EQ just to break even from where they were. Roger?
Roger. Yes, a lot of them, with electrolets, you've got a better dynamic, I think a flatter dynamic range.
Oh yeah. Condenser mic is just a beautiful. Now for the setup of the radio, what I suggest is that you run a 3 on the compressor, just a token amount, a 3 on the compressor. Roger.
Yeah, that's about what I'm running. It peaks at about 10%. Almost kind of an average of 5, and peaks almost makes 10.
Roger, and check your ALC, and let's see where we are level-wise.
Okay, ALC is between half and 2/3.
Roger, and out of curiosity, what's your tone?
I have not gotten into the CD to find it yet.
Oh, Roger, sounds good. I was just curious. And the thing about that mic is, though, you have to be careful that you work it to the side of your mouth, work across it, or get a nice little windscreen and slip over the top. $4 or $5 and the windscreen, and you don't have to be careful about how you work that mic. Roger?
Roger, yeah. I'm kind of talking across it right now, looking at the metering on the radio. And the amplifier, it's producing between 6 and 700 watts PEP, averaging about maybe 625 or so. Driving a AL811 with about, I think it's set at 75% on the power output.
Roger, looks good. You said the ALC was mid-scale to 2/3?
Yeah, it's mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger, I think you got it going, man. Sounds good. Get yourself a windscreen and as some added security, and you'll be on top of the world.
Yeah, I deal with pro audio. I've got a bunch of. I usually use for miking guitar amps and vocal work. I've always used the Shure SM58 betas. Yeah, I think I've got a box load of those things around here somewhere. The pop screens.
Roger. Now the new ones are only about 3 inches long, so they work very nicely on the hand mics. Whereas the older windscreens, foam windscreens, are like 6 inches, and they're a little long for the hand mic. But the new ones are just perfect, Roger.
Yeah, I'll have to get over, call Sweetwater or something on their Fort Wayne. They handle a lot of pro audio gear, and see what they've got.
Yeah, it should be about $4, and your choice of color. I would get 2, cheap enough, and then you're loaded for bar.
Yeah, this thing's I've had real good luck DXing with it, and I went from the 7000 to the 7300. Been him-hawing around about what rig do I want to buy, and I've had excellent luck with my 7000, so I thought ICOM, and that's what we went with again.
Roger. Well, you have made the choice of the radio of the year, maybe of the decade. It's just a beautiful radio from many aspects, Roger.
Oh, Roger on that. It's been very, very impressive. I've not really had any complaints whatsoever on it. As a matter of fact, it's always just one. It always goes way above.
Roger. Okay, I think you're good to go, sir. What was the name one more time, slowly?
Yes, the name is Dennis. Delta Echo, November, India, Sierra, QSO.
Roger, Dennis. Well, let me say threes to you, sir. Have a great weekend, and thanks for dropping in. If you get a chance, drop by next Friday. We start at 3:30 and run till 5, and we do the air check. If you want to hear what your radio sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and then you'll be looking for a QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 3/15/19. My Group Aircheck 3/15/19, which is today's date. Roger?
Okay, all right, great. Sounds like something to do. What's your name, by the way?
Name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located just across from Louisville, Kentucky, on the Indiana side of the Ohio River.
Oh, wow, we've got some super short skip in one end of the state to the other.
Roger that, yes, unusual. Usually, the closer you are, the worse things get.
Right, it usually is. All right, Jim, 73, and thanks for the chat. And we'll look around for you next Friday night after work here. So with that, you have a great one, and let's carry on. KC9VKV from Kilowatt American 9, Victor Tango Lima.
Roger, Dennis, three's that way, sir. Have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, and this is the QSO-VLOG Net. If you've got a radio you want to check out the audio, we are recording between now and 5. Give us a shout. KC9VKV.
Kilo November 4, Papa Oscar Radio.
Papa Oscar Radio. Come back with the call sign again.
Kilo November 4, Papa Oscar Radio.
Roger, and the name?
I have Jeff on this end, Jim.
Roger, Jeff. What radio are you running?
I'm also running the ICOM 7300.
Okay, Jeff, I think you might be just a little hot. If you know where your ALC is, go to your ALC, and you want to be half to 2/3 on your ALC.
Okay, see if I can turn this down a little bit, see if that is getting a little bit better.
Yeah, it's coming along. You want to be between half and 2/3, right? Maybe right at 2/3.
Yeah, copy. Is that any better?
Yes, sir. I have never. How far do you think you were above 2/3?
I was about probably close to 1/3.
Roger that. So now your ALC is saying you're right at half to 2/3.
Yeah, copy.
Oh, righty. I don't have to tell you anything about getting fat audio. I think you're doing pretty well there. Tell me about your antenna system.
I have a wire antenna, inverted V, up about 42 feet.
Okay, it still sounds a little hot to me. Just a tad hot. No, it could be. What mic are you running?
I'm running the standard desk, or not desk mic, but the hand mic.
Roger that. Roger that. And I tell you what I usually recommend is running about, engaging your compressor and running about a 3 on your compressor. That solves a lot of problems. It doesn't really do a lot of compression, but it does handle the mic level, starts to the fattening process. Roger?
Yeah, copy. Yeah, I have got that set on the 3 now.
Okay, and I would, what's your mic gain?
My gain's about 45.
Wow, man, you must have a strong voice.
Yeah, they say that.
I would take mic gain down. You're right at maybe a 2 dB dynamic range, so you could afford to reduce your level just a little bit. So I would take that mic gain down to about a 43, and let's just see what happens there.
Okay, I dropped it down a little bit further than that. I'm about 30% on the mic gain.
Oh, that's sounding a lot better. It doesn't sound like it's up against the wall, you know?
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, good shape then. That's down. That there's about 28% there, Jim.
Roger. Now just check with your ALC again to see where you are.
Okay, I'm still running just about 2/3 or a little bit over.
Okay. I would pull it down just a tad more.
Okay, how about that?
Tell me about your antenna.
The antenna is inverted V, about 42 feet up.
A little bit more. Tell me how many ants are walking across the wire?
There's 14 big pink elephants walking across that wire, going about 480 mile an hour there, Jim. How about that?
That's good. I think you're good to go there. You have about a 2.5 dB dynamic range, which is all you could hope for. I mean, well, it's all that you need. It's pleasant, and it's very fat. Roger?
Yeah, Roger on that, Jim. Hey, I really appreciate the help there. Help me tune this ICOM 7300. As you said, I think that is the radio of the year, maybe the decade.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Well, only ICOM knows for sure, and they're not saying because of the IRS and taxes. Well, anyway, what was the name again there, please?
Jim, it is Jeff on this end. Juliet, Echo, Foxtrot.
And what was the call sign again?
It is Kilo November 4, Papa Oscar Radio. Poor old radio.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You have a real good weekend. 3 is that away.
Yeah, 73 you also. Appreciate it, and have a great weekend.
This is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording between now and 5. This is KC9VKV.
W8RNE.
W8 something?
W8RNE. Romeo November Echo.
W8RNE. I see. Hang on just a second. And the name, please?
Yeah, Rick on this end, Jim, Romeo India Charlie Kilo, just east of Cleveland, Ohio.
Roger, how's everything in Cleveland?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, I don't need, I should be sounding okay because I haven't changed anything since the last time I talked to you, but I did hear the vlog there and appreciate that. That came out really nice.
Roger, yeah, your audio looks perfect. It just is ideal. I wonder why.
Yeah, it's that 7300 and a little fiddling with the knobs, and there you go.
Yeah, Roger. That's great. So what's your power level right now?
Is it my RF power?
Yeah.
I'm running 60.
Yeah, I'm running 60% right now, and I'm running into an 811H.
Roger, you sounded real good. I just went to the Virginia SDR and your the Alexandria, Virginia SDR. Come back, talk to me again. I'll run the rest of them, see how you're doing.
Yeah, and I'll run the rest of them, see how you're doing.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, that's where I usually have it. I may drop the power on occasion just to drop the amp power.
Hey, Roger. Yeah, the Virginia SDR was the hottest by far, Roger.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I usually get into Virginia and down that way pretty well.
Well, great. So thanks for checking in, and you have a real good weekend, Roger.
Okay, Jim. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you. Appreciate it, and that's a great thing you do, and it's cool listening to yourself and hearing everything. So, and I did it with the mobile too that day, so I heard it on my mobile and when I got home to the base. So, appreciate it, and you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. KC9VKV W8RNE.
Rick, I remember that. And you sounded as beautiful on your bass. Of course, there it is. But I should say your mobile sounded great too.
Yeah. When I heard it, I was surprised myself, and that it sounded that good, being just 85 watts and a ham stick there. So, all right, get out of here and let's grab some more before 5 o'clock hour hits, and we'll talk to you later, Jim.
Roger, Rick 3's that way, sir. Have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording between now and 5. This is KC9VKV.
November 4, Quebec, X-Ray Zulu, Rob and Norfolk.
There's about 15 stations in there. I don't know what to say. I couldn't get a handle on any of them. Loudest one, come back and try it. Well, now you know there must be 6 people running kilowatt PA systems. Gosh, I still don't have a call sign. Somebody, give me a call sign.
Kilo, November 4, Quebec, X-Ray Zulu.
X-Ray Zulu. I went to Milford, PA for you, sir, and I could isolate you fairly well. This is KC9VKV.
This is Kilo, November 4, Quebec, X-Ray Zulu. Rob in Norfolk. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you doing?
I'm great. I was able to get the antenna out of the attic and outside and made it longer. How do I sound today?
Wow, sounds good. Sounds good. Now, how long is it now?
It's 85.5 feet, and it's about 40 feet above the ground. It still goes to the same matchbox, but now that matchbox is grounded to a water pipe directly below it.
Roger. Well, it sounds good. I think you're right at, well, like I say, I am using the Milford PA-SDR, and at that location it looks that you're doing about 7 dB above their noise level. Roger
Roger that. Well, I'll get out the way. I know you have a pilot to deal with, but this is KN4, Quebec X-Ray Zulu, clear, KC4, Victor Kilo Victor.
Roger, sir. Well, thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks.
Give me the call sign one more time.
No worries. Kilo, November 4, Quebec, X-Ray, Zulu.
X-Ray Zulu. Roger, Rob. 3's at way, sir, and you have a real good afternoon.
You too, 73.
This is KC9VKV and the QSO-VLOG network. If you've got a radio, you want to check out the audio, give us a shout. We are recording between now and 5. We're about to turn into a pumpkin here in the next 6 minutes, so give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
Papa Uniform Bravo.
Papa Uniform Bravo. Give me the call again.
Roger. The call is Whiskey Alpha 4, Papa Uniform Bravo, WA4PUB, near Atlanta, Georgia. The name is Dave, short for David.
Dave, short for David, over.
Roger, Dave, and what was that location again?
It's called Marietta, and it's possible, if your map can get it, I'm closer to the town of Smyrna, S-M-Y-N-A, repeat, Smyrna, S-M-Y-R-N-A, Georgia, over.
Roger, Dave, I got a beautiful copy on you on my local antenna. We're located just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, on the Indiana side, Roger.
Oh my goodness, well, I probably should have my beam pointing maybe toward the west. I don't know if you can see any difference. Let me just switch it in that direction, which I did now. I don't think that you'd see much difference in there. This is WA4PUB, over.
Now, Dave, you're selling your antenna short there. I could hear the white noise backing down as you swung it. Probably we would be about 3 clicks west of north, Roger?
Roger, that's about how I have the antenna set up. It's a 3-element, full-size, cubicle quad wire beam type thing, and it's up at 60 feet. These elements are delta loops with the apex downward on a 47-foot boom, over.
Beautiful signal. Looks like about 15. I can't really give you an S-meter reading because I don't have any RF in the front end of my receiver. I'm running just below compression, AGC compression, so I can't give you an S-meter reading. But I am looking at your audio on the audio output of the radio, and so I adjust for 0 level on voice peaks, and what's left is noise, and the noise is 15 dB below your voice peak. So and that correlates somewhat to almost 15 dB over S9, Roger.
Well, thank you very, very much. Yes, calculated 8.2 decibel gain over our dipole, and the half power points are about 45 degrees, so it's about a 90-degree angle out there, and so you're getting a little bit of it from me. A rig here is an old Kenwood Tango Sierra 440 Sugar, an old Kenwood TS440S at 100 watts, over.
Just outstanding. Now, how long is your cross boom, or how long is your boom on that antenna?
It's boomless because I'm holding it up in trees, but it's right at 47 feet from one end to the other, over.
All right. Now, how do you change direction of it?
I changed the tuning of the parasitic elements, the 2 outside parasitic elements. When one is tuned as a director, the opposite one on the other end of the boom is a reflector. And so I changed the LC circuits that accomplish that in order to reverse the antenna, over.
Roger. So your directional capabilities would be in what increments, or how does that work?
I'm not so sure that I understand. I could tell you this. The reflector is tuned to, let me see. The reflector is tuned to 6995 kilohertz. And the director element is at 7.53 megahertz, over.
Roger, most interesting antenna. It seems to work great. Now, can you fashion a situation where you would go 90 degrees to the direction that you're going, just so I could see what happens at the 90-degree point?
No, I'm sorry. The 90-degree point is within about a degree or north or south, so it's at a minimum at that point, over.
Roger. I was just curious what what the gain would look like if you went 90 degrees to the direction you're working now, Roger.
Yeah, it would probably be something in the order of about 28 decibels. Over.
Roger, Roger. That's a substantial amount of signal, plus or minus, Roger.
Yes, and it's a good working antenna. I've had it up. I used to have a rotary array for this thing here years ago on a tower, but I had a tree fall into the tower and it damaged the structure, and so I ended up taking everything down. But well, I guess that's about it. The gain calculates out to be 8.2 decibel gain over a dipole in its favored direction, though. Over.
Roger that. Well, it's doing you a great job. That last transmission, you were 12 over. 12 over my residual noise. So great going there, Roger.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I'm pleased to get those kind of reports. Although I, for the most part, am a 8JK man from Ohio State. That's where I got my electromagnetics training at. And, of course, we've got to thank Doctors YAGI and UDA. But, you know, they did their thing in 1925, so it's kind of a substantial improvement in a certain sense of the word. Over.
Roger that. Roger that. You know, it's amazing how, well, like in broadcasting, radio, whatever, it's not somebody invented it. It's just somebody took the gauntlet from somebody that had took it so far, and then the next person took it and ran with it for 10 years or so and did all they could do, and then the next person takes the mantle and runs on down the field. And it's just amazing how, you know, the improvements keep coming in this industry, or in this hobby, actually, Roger.
Yes, and these fellows were funded by let me see, I can't think of the name. Give me 5 minutes and it'll pop in, but they were the same company who made the Japanese Zeros during the Second World War, and they still are in business now, but I can't think of their name right off. Over.
Roger that. Well, you know, I'm talking about the original guys, that whoever it was that was doing surgery on a frog leg, and got some kind of spark and the muscle jumped, and that was the first radio transmission. Roger.
Yeah, that's probably the truth. Over.
Oh, definitely history right there, you know. And then you have all the guys with the magnetic theories and, you know, just the evolution. You know, one of the greatest contributors is Tesla. I mean, that guy was one of the true geniuses of the world. He had unbelievable vision. He could design a three-phase motor in his head.
Yeah, no, that's really something. Of course, as memory serves, it was his desire to be able to transmit power wirelessly as opposed to through transformers and etc. Where Bell, I think Dr. Bell was the one who changed things around in that regard. Over.
Well, nobody said that Tesla would be an economic genius. I mean, you know, that's the thing. You can only be 100% of whatever you are, and he was an electric genius, and his business sense wasn't the greatest, but I think he had the good of mankind at the forefront of his invention, because he was talking about free energy to all, and that was not very popular with certain folks in the corporate world. Roger?
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I was talking to my financial guy here last Tuesday, and he was telling me that Tesla, the automobile people, are going to be keeping their $35,000 automobile, and they're going to keep it in production at that price, but the higher powered or more luxurious job is going to start in at $135,000 for that thing. I don't know too many people who could afford to buy that. I might be able to, but I'm not that much of an automobile fan. Over.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, and you know, one thought would be they wouldn't have to sell too many of those to make to make the same profit picture of you know, when they're doing the smaller one. But I think the thing is that maybe they've rethought the profit picture for the cheaper model and decided that they need to make a more expensive model to improve their profit margins. Roger.
Well, that sounds reasonable. Sure does. Well, did I ask your name? If I did, I can't find it on my paper here. Is it Mike? Is that right? Or?
No, the name is Jim. Juliet India Mike. There's a Mike in there, but it's an M. The call is KC9VKV, and we're located near Louisville, Kentucky. Roger.
Okay, Roger. Yeah. Well, I was pretty close, Jim. That's really good. Well, listen, I had better let you go. I see it's about 3 minutes or so after the hour, and my dear daughter has came to visit with me, and she's upstairs taking care of her pooch, her dog, and I was giving her a hand doing that. And so we are contemplating going out and getting a little bit of nourishment here. It's mighty nice that we'll get a chance to speak. By the way, my original call sign was W9ECO, electron coupled oscillator. W9 electron coupled oscillator, and I got it back in 1948. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now you've got a pub tied to your call sign.
Yes, I get a lot of comments about that as well. And sometimes I use phonetics here that I never hear people call me back using my chosen phonetics, which is Whiskey Alpha 4, Papa's ugly boy. Over.
Yeah, Roger. You got a point there. Probably more information than they would want to know. Well, listen, Dave, I want to say threes to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. We're usually here every Friday afternoon from 3:30 till 5, and we are recording. And matter of fact, we have been recording since 3:30. And if you would like to hear what your radio sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a QSO-VLOG entitled My Group Aircheck 3/15/19. My Group Aircheck 3/15/19, today's date. Roger?
Roger. Thank you very much. I'll have to give that a try. As a matter of fact, right now I've got a little bit of a problem with my PC, and my son is supposed to come on down here and help me out sometime or another. It's a case where I've got more help than I could use. Well, regards, and we'll see you again. Keep well and God bless. This is Whiskey Alpha 4, Papa Uniform Bravo. Goodbye for now.
Roger, Dave. Three's that way, and we will be posting this within the next couple of days. We usually give ourselves 48 hours to get it uploaded to YouTube, to be sure that we get it there when everybody expects it. So we'll be uploading this within the next couple of days. They say threes for now, David, and have a good afternoon. And this is KC9VKV at 9 minutes past 5, and we have been turning slowly into a a pumpkin. So we're going to close her down and say threes to all and jump out of here. We are past our time. So threes all. This is KC9VKV, and we'll be clear.